It has been evident that world powers have been directly or indirectly controlling African politics for decades. The top 10 African presidents assassinated by world leaders. If you like informative and educational videos on Africa, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to catch all our latest videos. Number 10. Sylvanus Olympio, the president of Togo, aged 60, and was assassinated on January 13, 1963. Olympio became the first prime minister of Togo, and his power was further cemented when Togo achieved independence and won the 1961 election, making him the first president of Togo. French treated Olympio with significant hostility during the transition to independence and became concerned that Olympio was largely aligned to the British and American interests. He was assassinated by the military, and his body was discovered by the US ambassador 3 feet from the door to the US embassy. Olympio is remembered as the first president to be assassinated during a military coup in Africa. Number 9. Laurent Kabila, the president of the Democratic Republic of Congo, aged 61, and was assassinated on 18th January 2001. In 1997, when Zaire needed a savior from the dictatorial grip of Mobutu Sese Seko, in came a rebel leader, Laurent Kabila. He had a decent background in business, but dropped that for guns and became a key player in the First Congo War. After ousting Mobutu's regime, Kabila began a genuine reform. Within a few days in office, he changed the country's name from Zaire to the Democratic Republic of Congo. But he will not be allowed to go further with his vision for his people by the powers that be. One of his bodyguards shot and killed him, and for 2 days he suffered dying. Number 8. Juvenal Habyarimana, the president of Rwanda, aged 57, and was assassinated on April 6, 1994. After ruling his nation for 20 years, his official plane was trying to land in the Kigali International Airport. The president and his then friend, the president of Burundi, were blasted into nothingness by unidentified assassins. The assassination of the two top men ignited the tensions in the region and helped spark the bloody Rwandan genocide that claimed about 1 million lives. Rwanda later accused France for complicity in the genocide. Number 7. Anwar Sadat, the president of Egypt, aged 62, and was assassinated on 6 October 1981. Sadat was a man of oratory charm and style and swagger, with a knack for risk-taking, even when possibilities of potential political costs were high. Sadat was assassinated at a military parade in 1981 by a group of officers who were discontent about the peace deal he had just made with Israel. This treaty was extremely unpopular in most of the Arab world and the wider Muslim world. Number 6. Cyprien Ntaryamira, the president of Burundi, aged 39, he was assassinated on 6 April 1994. He had just been chosen to become the president to ease tensions in Burundi, at the time where tribal tensions were high. But only 6 months after assuming office, the president was dead. He was with his friend, the president of neighboring Rwanda, when their plane was shot out of the sky while landing in Kigali International Airport. Number 5. Samuel Doe, the president of Liberia, aged 39, he was assassinated on 9th September 1990. Liberia had been politically dominated by Americano-Liberians over the century until Samuel Doe took power through a military coup. Doe opened Liberia to Canadian, Soviet, Chinese, and European investment. This brought in considerable foreign investment from foreign firms and earned Liberia a reputation of being a tax haven. In the late 1980s, the US government became disenchanted with Doe's government and began cutting critical foreign aid. This placed him in a very precarious position. Charles Taylor, a former ally, broke out of jail in the United States, and soon President Doe was captured, tortured, and executed. Number 4. Marian Goabe, the president of the Republic of Congo, aged 38, he was assassinated on March 18, 1977. The president had changed the country's name from Congo to the People's Republic of Congo, declaring it the first African Marxist-Leninist state. It is claimed that the president was under French pressure to annex the then oil-rich Gabina, a part of the Portuguese Angola, and his refusal to act cost him the French support. Soon after losing French support, the president was assassinated. Those accused of taking part in the assassinations were quickly tried and executed. Number 3. Muammar Gaddafi, the president of Libya, aged 69, he was assassinated on the 20th of October 2011. Like several African leaders in the 1960s, Gaddafi took power in a coup from the monarchy of King Idris. In 2011, an anti-Gaddafi uprising broke out, resulting in a civil war. Eventually, the US and NATO-backed rebels brought down Gaddafi's government, and through the help of the United States and NATO, Muammar Gaddafi was captured and then killed. Number 2. Patrice Lumumba, the Prime Minister of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Aged 34, he was assassinated on the 17th January of 1961. Patrice Lumumba was announced Prime Minister on June 1960. He endured a lot of hardship during his tenure, plagued by the Congo crisis. After failing to get support from the United Nations and the United States in fighting the secession, Lumumba turned to the Soviet, a then cardinal sin in the era of the Cold War. And with the help of the United States and Belgium, Patrice Emery Lumumba was executed by a firing squad. His body was then dug up and dissolved in sulfuric acid, while his bones were ground and scattered through the land. Number 1. Thomas Sankara, the President of Burkina Faso. Aged 37, he was assassinated on the 15th of October of 1987. Thomas Sankara became the President of Upper Volta and changed it to now Burkina Faso. He developed into a symbol of economic revolution and an icon in many Africans' eyes. After only 4 years in power, another coup by his former colleague Blaise Compaoré, thought to have been planned by France, brought an end to his reign. Sankara was caught and assassinated. The African continent mourned his loss. Despite his death at a relatively young age, Africa's Che Guevara won the hearts of many, young and old. If you like informative and educational videos on Africa, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to catch all our latest videos. And please feel free to leave your suggestions, news tips, or topics about Africa you'd like us to cover.